Welcome back to the Fast Science High School Game of the Week on the Score. Tony Giordano with you, live from Appleton North High School. The Appleton North Lightning, or Showstoppers, in their alternate identity today, are hosting the Oshkosh North Spartans in FVA Conference Baseball. Thank you for joining us. We'll step into that right-handed batter's box. Right is himself from the first offering from Christensen and sends one back to Christensen on the ground. He fields, throws to second for one. The turn in time. And even though Christensen on the first pitch of the game gave up a line drive single, faces the minimum in the first. We're still scoreless on the Broken Tree Pizza scoreboard. Great pizza, great times. Broken Tree Pizza. Bottom of the first coming up when we come back from Appleton North on the Fast Science High School Game of the Week. 2 from Kinsvogel. Fastball sent back into center field. Giving it chases. Resop, he came in initially, and it's over his head. It'll go all the way to the wall. Brennan Otto turning 2. He is going to round into third. The throw is late. Brennan Otto with a leadoff. We'll call it a triple. Water Street takes ball one inside, and it gets away from the catcher, Jack Bennett. Coming in to score is Brennan Otto, and the first run of the game comes for the Appleton North Lightning on a pass ball. Welcome back to the Fast Science High School Game of the Week on the Score. Tony Giordano with you. 1-0 Appleton North leads Oshkosh North. Here as Oshkosh North is coming to the plate. The Spartans will send up 8, 9, and 1, starting with Ty Karpowitz. Now, we are joined in the booth by a special guest, Appleton North Activities Director, Jere Kubuske. Jere, thanks for joining the broadcast.
I'm just waiting for this special guest to arrive.
Yeah, no, that's you. That's you, Jere. Yeah, thank you for taking the time and joining us. You know, once I started to hear what the Showstoppers program was and meant with the alternate identity, we knew we had to get you. The 1-0 is popped up to Cash Christensen, and he will just keep it himself to make the catch. First out of the inning by Ty Karpowicz brings up Griffin Resop. Now, can you tell me a bit more about the Showstoppers? Obviously, you were the one who created the alternate identity and what it meant. Where did the Showstoppers come from for Appleton North?
Well, when you're a sports fan, you know, in a position like activities director, you're inspired by a lot of different things. And, you know, obviously minor league baseball, having the Timber Rattlers here, they have several alternate identities, some of the most successful ones in minor league baseball, especially when you talk about the Udder Tuggers and even their new one, the Frozen Pizzas. And so having them is a little bit of an inspiration. I happen to be talking with one of our other associate principals, Patrick Lee, who's also a big baseball fan, and we started talking, like, what would it look like if Appleton North happened? Like, what would that be? What would it look like? And I'm not necessarily from the area. I'm an Ohioan originally, go Browns. But he is, and he kind of was filling me in on some of the history of Appleton, and that started our brains kind of going on, well, what could it be? It definitely would be a beneficial thing to be attached to the history of Appleton because there's so much history here. And so it was fun for me, like I said, not being a native to Appleton and to Northeast Wisconsin, to learn a little bit about what this region has to offer, and especially for our kids, you know what I mean, to be able to expose them to some of the things like I don't know how many of them realized until we started wearing these uniforms that Appleton was the home of the first electric streetcar. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to say that's a long-winded answer to a really short question, but the big thing was just, you know, conversation, like just having some fun, and ultimately that's what you want to do for the kids, you know, is give them opportunities, exceptional experiences, give them a chance to have some fun, something a little different, and so that's kind of where the Showstoppers began from.
Griffin Resop, the center fielder, is in a 1-2 count, has been fouling off pitches from Christensen. The 1-2 is a called strike 3 bender in there, and that is the second out of the inning. That'll bring up Jackson Anderson, the leadoff hitting designated hitter. Okay, so take me through some of the process to get to, obviously you said Showstoppers and the streetcar, but talk to me about how Harry Houdini ties into this as well.
Right, absolutely. So those are the two big claims to fame for Appleton. Obviously, the home of the first electric streetcar, and you know, Harry Houdini's hometown, as he referred to it as. And so, what are some ways that you can tie those things together? You know, what are some unique things? At one time, the idea of something called a voila trolley, like, you know, it was the idea, and that ultimately led to the idea of, like, well, what if this was the logo? You know, you had a trolley that had, you know, Houdini's cards in his hat and his broken or handcuffs, you know, hanging from his hand.
Stan is the 9-hole hitting shortstop who will lead off this inning for the Showstoppers. Takes ball one outside. What was the reaction to the players? Did you get to see any of that, or did you just go coach level? Like, what was the reaction based on what you saw when you initially unveiled the logo and the hats?
Well, before I got too far down the rabbit hole, I went to Coach Gus Maves and said, Coach Maves, I got a crazy idea. And he goes, I love crazy ideas. What do you got for me? And so I said, what if we went with an alternate identity? He goes, okay, do it. Let's make it happen. And so that was kind of my green light to continue down the path of starting to put together the logos, the marks, the colors. If you happen to be listening to this, you probably know Appleton North, and if you've been in the building, you know there's a lot of maroon in our building, and we can get into the history of that if you want to, which will take probably a whole half minute to talk about. But ultimately, we wanted to tie that color in, so now you've got some pieces and parts of Appleton North, you got pieces and parts of the history of Appleton, so that's how it all started to come together.
Activities Director Jere Kubuske of Appleton North. Appleton North is a school that is just about 30-plus years old, and just had its first ever boys basketball conference champion and team to go to state. And your head coach, Chris Kellett, has decided to step away from the program after the successful run. Talk about what he meant to this Appleton North school and the boys basketball program.
Yeah, just an amazing person, amazing coach, and a super supportive family that obviously he wants to get back to and spend time with.
The 3-1 is grounded to third. Nice glove hand play by Roofer to keep it in the infield. Throw to first was off the mark, I believe. Yes, as Colin Reddy will stay aboard at first base, giving way to Aiden Waterstreet, who grounded out to second. We'll see what the official call is there. The pull did just for a moment pull Ty Karpowitz off the bag. But, yeah, continue on Chris Kellett and what he meant.
Right. So, I mean, you talk about a guy with an amazing background, and, my boss, Nate Werner, was the activities director at the time that they hired Chris, and having someone of his caliber come in and take over a program that had won, 8 games over 3 or 4 seasons prior to his arrival, a team that, people describe the school and the history of our athletics program, the basketball team was always a little maligned, that they had, had some staggered successes here and there, but had never really been able to sustain anything, especially in a loaded Fox Valley Association.
The 1-0 is hit to center. Griffin Resop will come in and will make the catch with a slide. Tagging and advancing to third is Griffin Stan. Staying at first base is Colin Reddy on the line out to center field. The 2-2 is fouled away by Tegan Karpinski. And Karpinski with runners at second and third, 2 away. 2-2 offering. Fastball swung on and missed. That'll end the inning with a strikeout. Jere Kubuske, appreciate you joining our broadcast for this third inning. And, again, well done on the Showstopper alternate identity. It turned out really well. Again, if you are interested in getting your piece of history, your Showstopper hat, you can stop in at Appleton North High School. But thanks again for jumping aboard.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was a blast.
All right, we'll step aside and bring it back for more action. Still 1-0 Appleton North as we head to the fourth on the Fast Science High School game of the week. Here comes from Cash Christensen, who with the bases loaded works from the windup. This one on the ground and through right side into right field. One run is going to come around to score. Being waved around is Anderson, who's in safely. The throw gets away from the cutoff man, and moving up to second base is Frank as Kinfogel's into third. It's a 2 RBI single off the bat of Braden Frank, and Oshkosh North grabs the lead, 2-1 on the Broken Tree Pizza scoreboard. To maybe do that here as well. Runners on second and third, sends one into the gap, right center. Giving it chase is Ramus, and it's out of reach. Down for a hit, 2 runs come around to score, and it's 4-1 Spartans. From the stretch, left-handed pitcher, 2-2 curveball, grounded third base side. It is picked up by Roofer. He steps on the bag, throw to first, gets away. Coming around to try and score is Nathan Ramus. And he will do so. There's no throw. Ramus is in to score. Pitch is a slow tamper in front of home plate. Sliding out is Brennan Otto to try to make the play. What a pretty play from Brennan Otto. From out behind home plate with a foot-first slide in the grass of the infield. Picked up the pitch and in one motion fired to first. 1 pitch, 1 out to start the 7th. 2 swung on and missed. And Oshkosh North secures the victory. 4-3 over Appleton North is your final for the Spartans. We will wrap things up with a post-game show when we come back to the Fast Signs High School Game of the Week on the Score.